martini's 31, and no not to test me. On my worst behavior, but at least I'm with my besties.
Welcome to this week's episode of Sports Uncorked. We literally didn't know what to talk about today because it's the same old, it has been for the last 3 weeks when it comes to college football, because it's the same question. Is this team good or is this team bad? So we're just going to talk about all of the dumpster fires that are happening in the sports world right now until we can get to the playoffs, since we already know who's going to be playing.
So I think we have to say the first dumpster fire was that we got a notice from Spotify that apparently we're big enough that we had to have licensed music. So I had to go back and republish our last 10 episodes, Taylor Swift republished her albums to use commercially appropriate intro and theme songs. So
Mercury is in retrograde. The Northern Lights can be seen below the Mason-Dixon line. Let's get to it.
I feel like we're in the upside down at this point. Dumpster fires
100%.
and conspiracy theories. Here we go.
All right, let's go.
The biggest one, besides us having to find music that's commercially available, is could LSU and the state of Louisiana be fumbling the Brian Kelly situation any more than they have over the last 2 weeks?
Here's my question.
Unfire?
How do you mess up firing somebody? How do you mess that up?
It's like they didn't think it through. It was like a 13-year-old boy making a bad decision. Just fire him. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out all the details.
Thus, the exit of their athletic director. Listen, there is a reason why that athletic director is no longer employed by LSU. It's absolutely insane. Now they're having to go back and try to figure out if he was fired without cause or he wasn't fired the right way because he wasn't. It's so much madness. I can't even believe that this is happening right now. They are saying that, well, he wasn't informed the correct way that he was getting fired, and that because of that, they didn't have the right grounds to fire him, quote unquote, without cause, or they had to have cause and they fired him without cause, and that's why this is all going back. It's so insane. I literally have never heard in my life of somebody not firing somebody the right. I don't understand how you mess that up. I really don't. It should be as simple as hey, we're firing you cause you can't win any football games and you're pretending to be Cajun.
And
there's a lot of things going wrong here.
That's what they said. If you turn off somebody's key card access and there's video of him trying to get in the building and it doesn't work, that's also indication number one.
Also, you can't play golf at 1:00 at the university club anymore.
And your AD and the governor came out and acknowledged that there was going to be a $53 million liability. Don't act like you didn't have the grounds and don't act like you didn't do it. You signed a contract. When you sign a contract, you're on the hook for all of the terms of the contract. If you relieve someone of their duties, regardless if it's exactly down to, well, you have to give them 10 days notice. You had to sit them down. They had to be in that third seat to the left at the table. I don't know what all that is, but you fired him and you fired him publicly.
So you're going to have, and also, if you can't afford to fire anybody, maybe we pump the brakes on firing him until it gets a little, look, I am not an athletic director. I don't run an athletic department. I don't know how major universities are balancing their books these days, but I would think that if I knew that I was going to have to owe somebody $53 million as a result of kicking them off my campus, I would probably just put a little bit of strategy together so that I don't look crazy 14 days later in the news.
Do you think that the $53 million after attorney's fees and damages that he's going to say, you are damaging my opportunity to get another job because you're saying now it's for cause and all of this, it's going to be more than $53 million. To me, it's insane. And what kind of coach do you think is going to come into this program and not demand, because I think the governor came out this week and said, we're not going to do big contracts with these big deals in the future, with these big buyouts. What legitimate coach is going to come in after seeing this dumpster fire and say, yeah, I'm good with a small buyout and I'm good with a small contract. Yeah, you guys, you kind of treated the last couple guys really well on the way out.
Gruden? someone who's so freaking desperate to coach in the SEC, he would take a massive paycheck. But that man doesn't need to be anywhere near any 18 or 19 or 20-year-old girls, especially on a college campus. So with that being said, LSU really, I mean, they shit the bed on this. It's crazy because you have to get lawyers involved to go down this path. And what I don't understand is what lawyer down in Baton Rouge missed the key termination clause in this man's contract. Like, I literally don't. But again, this comes back to the athletic director being let go because they knew he messed up a long time ago. They knew he messed up. It's insane.
They need to pay him and make this go away as quickly as they can so that everyone moves on to the next story. And this isn't a shadow that's hanging over their university while they're trying to find and bring in a high caliber coach. And
What's
don't
even
think that
more-
Lane Kiffin is coming. That
No.
man is 75 shades of crazy, but he's not crazy enough to go and put up with that shit.
No, not at all. Not at all. What's so crazy is that they really think, LSU really thinks that they're going to be able to lowball this man after all of his public embarrassment. And they're like, oh, so here's the settlement offer. We know we owe you 54 or 53. How about 25?
And who's going to say yes?
What?
Especially when there's no reason for him to say, oh yeah, well, I forgot that I had that incident 3 years ago that they kind of swept under the rug that they're going to now expose and it's going to be bad. Like, there's nothing like that. Well, that we know of. But if there was something like that, don't you think he would have jumped on that offer?
100%. You would think. But, again, this goes back to, like, the question we've been asking pretty much all season. Who's good and who's bad? Like, we really don't know how this is going to play. I just don't know how this happens. I really don't. It's so bizarre. And what's crazy is that on the other side of the firing coin, the Dallas Mavericks finally got rid of Nico Harrison after being absolutely bullied by their fan base for the last 11 months. It's so crazy that this man finally is no longer employed there. He really thought that he was going to draft the Great White Hope in Cooper Flag and save his tail after getting rid of Luka, and then bringing busted Anthony Davis down to Dallas, thinking that was going to save him. My guy, come on! I really need you to get the wheels turning in the right direction because that was not the case at all.
They announced his firing like it was a time of death and like a date of execution. It's like Nico Harrison will be fired at 10 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday.
Wait, can you imagine being Nico Harrison?
I know. You're like, oh, cool.
Getting the call.
I got an invite.
Getting the call, right? And they're like, hey, dude, you got to come in. We're going to meet tomorrow. And then seeing the news headline that day.
It's so specific.
Like, I'm not coming in there.
I've literally never seen that before. He will be fired at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on
It was like
Tuesday,
a
November
triple
11th.
backhand. A triple backhand, right? The fans hate you. Your front office hates you. And at this point, your wife probably hates you because she's just like, I've had enough. I did have to pull this crazy stat, though. The Mavericks record with Luka playing was 240 to 182. Now, granted, we know that Luka was with the Dallas Mavericks for quite a long time. But since Luka has left, their current record is 60-87. They aren't even, they're not even getting the same amount of rebounds as they were when Luka was playing. Talk about the most massive backslide in a program I've ever seen in my entire life. They absolutely had to get rid of Nico. They had no choice. Cooper's not saving them. Anthony is hurt. What's happening in Dallas?
They're not selling jerseys. They're not selling beers. They're not selling tickets. All of that adds up as much as viewership and fan support.
How fun is it to go to a Dallas Mavericks game and then everyone is chanting "Fire Nico" the whole time? I have not been to Dallas for a Mavericks game in quite some time. But I cannot imagine being in their arena and just hearing people chant "Fire Nico" over and over and over and over again. Actually, I can. I would have loved it. But
I went to a game last year in January, after it had happened, and there was nobody in Dallas. They were playing the Warriors. When Steph Curry comes to town, people show up. There were no fans. It was 20 minutes before tip, and it was completely empty. Almost thinking, did we
Cuban
get the game
is sitting
time?
there I'm glad I got out when I did.
Yeah, it was that was crazy. And that was last year. And they weren't chanting, but everyone was feeling it. It was literally like right after the trade.
Absolutely crazy.
So our next dumpster fire, I think we have to go up to the state of Michigan
Yeah.
because I thought I read something wrong that Michigan State has to vacate all of their wins 2022, 2023, and 2024, right? Those 3
Yep.
years between
Mm-hmm.
22 and 24.
Yep.
And it was because they had 3 players on the roster that were ineligible.
Oh, that was just one of the reasons.
Did they have another reason?
Yeah, girl, they had a whole
Tell me,
list.
girl.
So they had, like you said, they had to vacate 14 of their 14 football
They only had
wins
14,
in 3 years.
right?
They
They
only
only
had
had
14. They only had 14 in 3 years. So they had to vacate all of those wins. So they had to vacate these wins because of general manager Saeed Khalif and former assistant coach Brandon Jordan provided over $10,000 in improper benefits to 6 recruits between October of 2021 and March of 2023. So these benefits included airfare, lodging, and unofficial visits. They also had 3, so in addition, they had the 3 ineligible players. Those recruits later enrolled at Michigan State and played in games, so they weren't even college kids. They were just playing out there to play. And
I
then,
love that even more.
and then the NCAA found that Mel Tucker, who was the head coach at the time, because he was fired recently, failed to properly oversee his program and he created a compliance negligent environment, resulting in now a 3-year show cause. Here's what is crazy. So they got fined $30,000 on top of their 3-year probation. That $30,000 is 1.5% of their football's program budget.
No, it was $30,000 plus 1.5% of their football budget.
100%.
Program budget, yeah.
And they're getting hit with all kind of recruiting restrictions during this probationary period. Now, here's my thing. If we're talking about, oh God, if we're talking about the state of Michigan, right? And things that are not supposed to be happening in football programs in the state of Michigan. Do we feel this is fair in comparison to what was happening in Ann Arbor, where we literally had a dude pretending to go to football games to see what the play calls were going to be, and then reporting back to home base about what the different play calls were at different schools? Do we think that's fair?
Just going to say one won 17 games in 3 years, one won a national championship in 1 year. I don't know. Yes.
I just think that a slap on the wrist would have
Not
sufficed.
harsh.
Yeah.
They call them the Yoopers and the Trolls. The Trolls
just-
got away with one under the bridge.
Oh my God. I legitimately feel bad for this Mel Tucker dude, because he was like, listen, I'm just doing the best that I can so that I can keep up with that other monster on the other side of the state.
And I'm cheating and I still can't win games. So
Like,
there's-
he got a 3-year show cause, and he's not going to go not going to go coach in the NFL after this. It seems a little unfair. I'm just saying. Maybe, since one school does have an asterisk next to their natty, maybe some other people should be vacating wins.
I mean, do they even have
And
an
trophies.
asterisk? Do they even have one?
You're right. They did. They got rid of it. They were allowed to keep it. I'm looking forward to the Netflix documentary. I'm being facetious when I say that because we all know there's not going to be a Netflix documentary
There was
about
already
Michigan
Connors,
State.
right? I was
Right,
like,
but
God.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if your cheating was so
Guilty.
egregious that Netflix got to do a whole documentary about it, and then, like, on the other side of the state, your cheating was like, oh, yeah, by the way, not only are you going to lose 1.5% of your budget, we're also going to fine you $30,000 and a 3-year no-show cause, and we're taking all of the wins that you worked really hard to scrap together. It feels a little unfair because Harbaugh is sitting there in LA making a ton of money, coaching a piss poor NFL team, and the school you cheated for is still kind of sitting pretty, even though they've not done well this season at all. But I'm
Get
just saying,
into the playoffs, which is insane. The Big Ten is so
you serious?
weak.
Like,
Yeah, they're so.
see, this is what happens when you ignore college football for like a week. Is Michigan in the?
There's a path. There's a path for Michigan. If Michigan beats
Yeah,
Ohio
18.
State, yeah. If Michigan wins out, they're in.
If Michigan beats Ohio State, get out of here.
That'd be 5 in a row?
Michigan is not going to beat Ohio State.
Well, they shouldn't have beat them last year either.
I know, that's true, but they're not going to. Ryan
And
Day is
they're
sitting outside of
in.
someone's house.
Well, yeah, but I think it's going to be a closer game.
It'll be a closer game for sure, but
They're-
Ohio State is not going to lose. Listen, Ohio State has
So
not
they
played
shouldn't have
anybody.
last year.
I know. Ohio State's not going to let it happen. The Big Ten's not going to let it happen. The CFP isn't going to let it happen. Listen, I don't trust anybody now, which is a great segue into the next dumpster fire, which is the CFP chair stepping. Like, can we just talk about there's inappropriate behavior happening all over the place, and I literally cannot deal. I trust nobody at this point. This dude had to personal reasons, is stepping down for personal reasons when we all knows you put hands on a whole child and a coach, sir, over color schemes.
Yeah, you're not wearing the color of t-shirt that he likes. But that's so would you step down over that? I don't think you step down over that.
I don't think you step down over it unless it has something to do with you breaking all kind of NCAA violations. What is it, Title IX or something like that? You're not
By
supposed to put
touching
hands
someone?
on. Yeah, girl. Listen, I
want to see video footage of this. Was it
You're not going to see
was
video
it
footage of
bad?
it.
Do you have video footage?
I don't have video footage, but I can tell you exactly what happened. So, the university received allegations about him on Monday. They claim that it has nothing to do with Title IX, student welfare, or NCAA rules. So, for those of you who don't know, Title IX protects against discrimination, retaliation, misconduct, and exclusion, and requires schools to receive federal funding and be compliant to have a process for students and employees to be able to address incidents of harassment. It also provides student rights to be free of a hostile educational environment and protects participants from any retaliation in an investigation process. You can't put hands on another student. You can't put hands on a student. I don't care who you are, unless you're maybe the coach. But you can't. You can't put hands on a kid, especially if you are a freaking athletic director.
What kind of hands is it, though?
So
the
apparently
thing.
he went up to the kid and walked up to him, tapped him on the shoulder and said, "What the F are you wearing with that yellow shirt?" And then after the game, he followed the guy over to the sidelines who was going to say hello to friends and family. And he allegedly went to see, so Trigg, this is all the university's tight end. His name is something Trigg. I didn't write that down. I guess it wasn't important. But so the guy walks over to this tight end. The guy's over there talking to his family and an assistant coach who's visiting on his own free will, not on a recruiting trip. And Rhodes approached the assistant coach from behind and grabbed him by the arm and shoulder and neck area. This is multiple sources that have reported this to the university.
Playfully? I mean,
did I say playfully? No.
You didn't say aggressively. Don't guys walk up and go "Arr!" all the time? I don't know.
Listen, I think
try to put this guy in a headlock.
Come up to anybody, and I think anytime you come up behind somebody and the word "grabbed" is you. I mean, I don't know. Listen, there's no video, but
I mean, it must be
if
bad
it was
if he's
enough to
stepping
where
down.
someone would. Listen, it is. Because otherwise, you make a great point, right? Because dudes do a lot of weird stuff. They like to ass grab, they like to wrestle and all that other stuff. So if it was fine, it was fine. So clearly this was not fine, which is leading me to believe that it was not playful. Playful. Boys should not be playfully grabbing anybody from behind. I'm just saying, woo.
But they are like animals.
They are like animals, which is why, but even animals know the difference between something being playful and aggressive. You grab your dog aggressively, he's going to turn around and bite your hand, right? If you grab him from behind playfully, he's going to wag his little tail. There's a difference at the end of the day. There's a difference. So, all of that being said, personal reasons, whereas someone is mad that you grab somebody in a non-friendly way, and that is why he is no longer sitting as chair of the playoff committee. What's even more wild is that they've got this guy from the University of Arkansas that is stepping in. The other guy, there's another guy who is from the University of South Florida who was almost going to be named chair, except they found out that he had some mismanagement issues when he was athletic director at South Florida. So everybody is just messing up. There's dumpster fires from east to west. Where is Carly Israel when we need her?
On the first playoff committee, Condoleezza Rice was in the room. I'm like,
Yeah.
is she qualified? But I kind of like her being there.
So I went down the rabbit hole because I'm officially an expert on everything college football playoffs. Kidding. So I went down the rabbit hole, right? And I looked up all of the people that are on the committee. First of all, it's a lot of old white dudes.
Yeah,
Just gonna put that
100%.
out there. It's a lot of old white dudes and one black lady. What's wild, I'm gonna put this out here, and the world is not gonna like it. There's a lot of SEC affiliation on the college football playoff committee. A lot.
What
A
do they
lot.
have to do to get nominated for this? Like, I don't have line of sight into how the committee is chosen. Is it just like a
Don't know.
like
I
submit
literally don't
your
know.
resume and then whoever's in charge picks?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Like, one of these guys played for the University of Mississippi, and then he got drafted in the second round to the San Francisco 49ers. He played in the Super Bowl as a Denver Bronco. He spent one season in New Orleans and then one season in Carolina. And then he came back to Oxford. He does all kinds of like philanthropy and stuff in Oxford. He's big. He does a lot of charitable work in the Charlotte metro area. I don't know how these dudes end up where they are. Like, I would love to be on the listen.
I know, like
Call
Sports
me, 'cause
Uncorked.
I am
Yeah.
Listen, I'm unbiased, which I think that we proved last week when Rachel got mad at me for rooting for Georgia, Florida, Auburn, and all of the other SEC teams in college basketball, but could be on the playoff committee. I'm just saying.
I could
But
not.
all of these people have some kind of connection to an SEC school, which is like wild. Like,
Do you
someone
feel like
either
a lot of people do?
I guess I did. Well, here's my thing. So now I feel like I have a favorite, right? Because they have this guy, um, Hunter Yurachek, who's the new chair. So he is from the University of Oxford, but he served as the athletic director at Coastal Carolina and the University of Houston. And he's got his bachelor's degree from Guilford College. So I feel like he's like a much better option. There's also a guy on the playoff committee that like graduated from Stanford. You know how I feel about Ivies and schools that are good at academics. So I feel like they can stay. But there are some other people that I got questions about because it's like, oh yeah, well, I started out my career being an assistant coach at Northern Illinois School for the Blind, and then I went on to be the athletic director at South Carolina, and now I'm on the playoff committee. And then this other person is like, oh yeah, well, I graduated from the University of Georgia. I'm an SEC athlete. I ran track, and now I'm on the playoff committee.
Now I'm qualified.
So I don't really know, and I'm like kind of like talking out of pocket about my own conference, but I'm being fair. Right? So I have just a little concerns about so many people being from the University of Georgia on the playoff committee.
So let me ask you this. Are we in agreement that the playoff does not need to expand beyond 12?
Yeah, agree. That's too much.
Like this
That's
talk,
too
like
much.
it is not like, hey, everybody gets in. It still needs to be special. These talks of it going to 16 to 21 to 28. We can barely even find 12 teams that should be in. Are you
We don't need
kidding
all
me?
of that.
You
We don't
lose
need all
4
of that.
games, you don't get into any kind of playoff. This isn't the NFL, right? Like where everybody's in the playoffs.
Do we need to have a March Madness-esque playoff bracket? Like, that's why do we need to do that? What is that? What are you trying to tell me? That we're not focusing enough on the players that are playing on teams outside of the top 15? Like, what are we doing? What is the point? I feel like we're doing a pretty good job letting schools that have not had recognition in the playoff conversation in the past get their limelight. I mean, look, South Florida is ranked 20.
But do you feel like South Florida at 25th should get a spot in the playoffs? Or should you just be where you rank in the poll at the end of the year? I don't feel like giving a conference champion a spot, that's a thing.
I don't think that just because you're in a specific conference, you should get a spot. I do feel like that if you play well enough and you've got a good strength of schedule and you have performed consistently throughout the program, yes, you should get a shot at being in the playoffs. Do I think Indiana should be in the playoffs? Absolutely. Do I think Texas A&M earned their spot? Absolutely. Like, I think this year is the closest we have gotten to a fair bracket since the whole bracket came to fruition. I have really strong opinions about that. I don't have any problem with who is seated, where they are seated, except for Ohio State, because they literally have not played anybody this whole season. I have strong feelings about that. But regardless, I think that this is the most fair that it has been in years.
I agree with that. The other thing that I have seen is that a lot of the teams that are at the top have played all of the teams at the bottom of the conference. So when we're scheduling these conference games into the future, like what role does that strength of schedule, strength of conference play into this? Because like Texas A&M has played every team in the SEC that has fired their coach.
Mhm.
Ohio State has played all of the bottom feeders. Indiana has had a couple of good wins, but for the most part, they're playing the bottom feeders. So at what point do you say, okay, so you had a harder path to get here? You might have had 2 losses because you played the top tier teams in your conference. So you have 2 losses. How did they, and I think they're getting better at this, but how do you weigh that against kind of who you're stacked up with and who your competition is? Because you don't know what that's going to look like year in and year out, but I feel like it needs to be a consideration.
This might sound a little elementary, but I do think that there is something to be said about scheduling teams that are within the top 10 at the end of every season, right? So even though I know that Ohio State is never going to play Texas A&M in a regular season, I feel like they should, just because they are ranked so high at the end of the season. I do feel that a team, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I do feel that a team like Vanderbilt should have a shot at playing somebody like an Oregon or a Notre Dame the following season. I think that there's something to be said about where your defense is ranked nationally, where your offense is ranked nationally, what your strength of schedule is on a regular basis. And, if all of 3 of those things line up, how did you perform against ranked teams? I think that, people were really hating on Alabama because it's like every game we've played has been so nerve-wracking. We don't know if we're going to win. But we played and beat a lot of ranked teams. Are there a lot of other schools that can say that? No, they can't. And look at where there's something that needs to be taken into consideration going into the next round. And I know that they're trying out a new format and they're trying to see how this works. Well, let somebody like Ohio State actually play somebody instead of Marshall in Northern Illinois. Like, I don't understand. Like, the only good thing that I will be okay with Ohio State being ranked number 1 is that they are hurting in the viewership. And I hope that they know that they spent $20 million on their roster or whatever it was that they did this year. And every single week, their viewership of their games went down lower and lower than the week prior. The only time that Ohio State had the highest viewership on a Saturday was the week that Alabama was not playing. Just saying. Make for good and it sucks because you got kids out there that are playing, you're paying them a ton of money. No one is ever going to see them play because they're playing the Citadel. And your viewership was 6 million or less than that.
We talked about this, was it last week or the week before, about how this is something that the Big Ten in general needs to fix. When you expanded to 18 teams, you didn't think about putting money into the programs. You thought about the TV money. You have diminished the value of your conference by bringing in all of these schools that don't add a lot of value, that don't have the roster to support being a good team. And therefore, your teams that are at the top, because there are 18 teams in the conference, you're spreading and diminishing their strength of record.
Exactly.
By spreading it around to all of these teams that are like, they don't matter, right? So they've got the Big Ten's got a big issue, and I think this is why they were trying to look for that like outside private equity firm capital infusion, was to say, like, help us fix this, because we kind of understand, yes, we have a powerhouse at the top, but our medium, mid to low range schools are horrendous. And it's
Yeah.
bringing us
Oh,
down.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, and it probably contributes to why they were so hell-bent on save us a slot. Please,
We need
save us
4.
a spot in the play.
Yeah, we need 4. Like, you don't deserve 4. You can barely fill 3, maybe 3.5.
Like, seriously. But
We're not giving you
I-
4. I don't like any conference
don't
saying
like-
we get dedicated spots. It should be
No,
based on
it's
the
'cause then it's a
rankings at the end of the
gimme.
season.
It's a freaking gimme. And now it's like, well, we don't have to try as hard because we know we got an opening for. No, I'm sorry. Your slot was taken by somebody that deserved to be there. You shouldn't be holding spots. You don't hold spots. We've learned that since elementary school. You don't hold
No
spots.
cutsies, right?
No cutsies. You got to earn it. God, like, freaking millennial we're notorious for it, but like freaking like consolation participation trophy ass, like come on, bro, nut up. I can't. I can't be okay with that. I can't be okay with things being handed. I can't be okay with, we're already playing a bunch of players, but we're playing all these players. We're still not good enough to earn our spot at the top. Get out of here. I'm not trying to hear any of that.
I mean, I think there's an element of it when it comes to the conference championship games that it's like win and get in for
Yeah.
a team that might be on the bubble.
Yeah.
I don't, and I do think that they have to figure out a way if they went away and just said like straight ranking, they have to figure out a way to reward conference champions because they're playing another game that they shouldn't
Yeah.
have to play, that there's a chance of a win-loss, right? Either Ohio State or Indiana is going to have a loss. They probably should still get first round buys. I mean, not deservingly based on schedule, but deservingly
Right.
based on placement as they are today.
Yeah.
I think the SEC race is very interesting. The ACC is a dumpster fire. Like, who is good in that conference? I don't know. That is completely up for grabs. The American Conference is completely up for grabs. The Big 12, like,
who's
okay, you
good
got
in
Texas
any
Tech
conference?
and
Who is good in? I mean, like, I think that we have absolutely wondered who is good from the get-go in not only in NCAA but in the NFL too. Like, who is good? I think we're not going to rant, but we're seeing a lot of similarities across the two leagues. And I'm calling them leagues because they are beginning to operate very similarly. And if we're not recognizing that now, when we finally recognize it, it's going to be too late. And if you look at the bracket now, you can already tell who's going to be playing in the semifinals. And that's freaking boring. Unless
Georgia loses to Georgia Tech, Michigan beats Ohio State. Like, I think USC runs the table. Like, there's still some good. If Georgia loses the rest of their games, Texas loses the rest of their games,
which
Ole
they
Miss
very well
gets into.
could.
Like, I think there's just still, and this is why I hate all the what ifs. And like, we're
Yeah.
in the what ifs part of the season where it's like,
And it's
well, if
so
this
early
happens
for
and this
that.
gets in, I'm like, I don't care. Also, why do we not have a Heisman front runner? Because everybody sucks. Great, Julian saying you're great, but you haven't played against anyone. Fernando
Listen,
Mendoza, you're
literally
great, but is your Heisman moment because you had a game-winning 1-inch foot in touchdown against Penn State, who is 0-6 in their conference? Like, cool.
I mean, yeah.
Ty Simpson has turned the ball over 4 times in 4 games.
I don't know why in the world we're
Marcel
talking.
Reed, why are we not talking about him more? Because he
That's what I'm
runs
saying.
and passes. Like,
That is what I'm saying.
who's
Like, we need to talk about those. Like, love my Crimson Tide. Ty Simpson shouldn't be up for Heisman. I'm just going to put that
No.
out there. I don't think he's Heisman eligible. I don't know why in the world we're talking about Gunnar freaking Stockton as a Heisman candidate. Like,
Nobody
what?
is, right?
No
People
one is
are?
saying that.
No.
Like, also, I'm just going to put this out here, but when I think of a Heisman candidate, I'm not thinking of somebody who I absolutely hate based off their personality. And I don't know why Diego Pavia is even in the same conversation as Heisman, because he's so freaking arrogant. He's he's higher up than I would like him to be.
They're not even going to
on
get in the
favorites list.
playoffs. No, they're not even going to get in the playoffs.
No, they're not.
No.
But like, nothing is made. You made the perfect analogy. It's like being in the upside down. Like, we are living in Stranger Things right now because nothing makes sense. I mean, not to like get too far off topic, but like, Miami Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills the other day.
And the penny got canceled before the Bills won a Super Bowl. Let's also say that.
Just like,
and your man's trolling them. How awesome was that?
I love him just cruising around, cruising past the elbow room in my matte black bed.
And he's like,
I love Mike McDaniel.
They asked him about it, and he's like, I don't know, I live in the neighborhood, but probably
whatever.
Like AI. He's like, probably AI. That was probably like AI.
So ridiculous. I love him so much. You know what? We talked a lot about like the divas and like we could do the Real Housewives of the NFL and no, we don't. We need to do the real dumpster fires of football. And it's got to be Lane Kiffin and Dan Lanning and Mike McDaniel and who else is freaking crazy? Dabo. All in a house. Lock them in there for a week. Turn the mics on. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. you're laughing because you'd watch it.
I would
I'd be
watch
so
it in a
so
heartbeat.
entertaining.
I think, and then
Yes.
we introduced Brian Kelly, like, as the day 3 guest.
Dude, I don't know if you watch NFL Sundays or anything like that, but Rex Ryan was like
The
really digging in to Brian Kelly the other day, and I could not stop laughing. He was like, um, he said it was like Brian Kelly chat GPT'd how to be Cajun on the plane down there. And that's what came out. And then he was like, wait, do you even know anything about Baton Rouge? No, but I sure don't want to get some gumbo. Like, what? I can't even believe this is actually, but it's what happened. It's exactly what happened. He
If
Googled
I
how to be from Louisiana on the jet down to Baton Rouge and was like, hey, I'm here. Can I get some crawfish?
for my
You've
family
never seen crawfish before in your life, sir. I guarantee you
to watch him eat
that.
one, he wouldn't know what to do with it. Would he try to, like, crack the claw?
Oh my God,
I know
probably.
that little bitty little pincher, like a
Listen,
little shrimp.
I bet you he'd get far enough, but when it got down to sucking the head, he'd be like, "Would I do what?"
Yeah. That goes in the trash, right? Or the garbage. Garbage.
The garbage.
Garbage.
The garbage.
So
Coach Joe, where are
I'll
you
give
when we
you
need you?
I'll give you something to watch. Little known
Okay.
fact, I watched The Amazing Race with my family. It's like the
Ooh,
boys' favorite thing to watch. And Rex
okay.
Ryan was on a season of The Amazing Race.
My God.
What you got to do is you got to Google Rex Ryan yodeling. It's about the funniest. He's full on yodel. And they were the last one to leave this checkpoint because
But is it the
he was
same Rex
so
Ryan that we
bad.
see on Sundays? Is he super tame with big white teeth, or is this a different
Yes.
version?
Nope. That it is that version. The skinny down version of Rex Ryan with those huge white wooden teeth trying to yodel. I think we'll have to put a clip in. I'll have to figure out how to insert a clip here of that. But it is
Brian and Tim, man, this is
hilarious. It is
hilarious.
hilarious. If I was on NFL Countdown and Rex Ryan started making fun of me, I would, if I was Randy Moss, I would pull this up like all the time. Like, remember
Wait,
your
first of
yodeling?
all, we need to address, why is Rex Ryan friends and playing golf with a probation officer? Like, where did he meet this guy?
I think we know the
Question
answer.
of the is it because he coached in Buffalo for so long?
Yes. Yes.
Me oh my, what are the odds? Golf buddies.
Just
Hilarious.
do yourself a favor. Look at that on YouTube and just get
Like,
ready.
is this man on, like, the Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder beauty plan? Why is he so tan? Okay, I didn't see that, but he's wearing a handkerchief wrapped around his neck.
Okay, then that's
This
it.
is like
It
a
looked
COVID
like
version of
the
The Amazing
Ricola
Race.
man. Yeah.
What's hilarious is, like, in this video, he's wearing a shirt that says Team T-Rex. It's perfect.
It's great. Like,
This is perfect.
you might die. You might die. You'll
I
never
love
look
it.
at
I'm
him the
so
same
excited.
again. Every time I see
I
him now,
already
I
don't
just
look
think
at
about
him
that
the same, like-
yodeling.
Oh my gosh. I already look at him different every time I see him on NFL Sunday. I'm like, why are you so tan? My God, you're so tan and your hair and your teeth are so white. It makes no sense. But he also was like, for $54 million, I'm on my way to Baton Rouge. We do what we can, sir. We do what we can.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Any
All
other
right.
conspiracy theories, dumpster fires out in the world? I mean, Bama's got a big game this weekend against Oklahoma. Georgia, Texas is going to be interesting. Notre Dame, Pitt's going to be interesting. There's good games. We're just
There's
choosing
good
not
games.
to address them.
Listen, there are good games that are happening this week. We're just a little burned out because it's like who, we don't know who's good. We don't know who to root for because it could literally be anything. It could be I'm not going to put this bad juju out into the universe. Louisville could completely just poop the bed and Clemson beats them. Indiana could get swept by Wisconsin. We don't know. So it's hard for us to say anything intelligent because then we look like assholes on Monday morning because we're like, yeah, Michigan's playing an unranked Northwestern, so Michigan's got this. And then Northwestern comes out, and not only do they blow the over-under, but they make Michigan look like high school students. We just don't know anymore.
Are they playing at Wrigley Field, too? Did I see
Yes,
that?
they're playing at Wrigley Field, and the over-under is 41.5, and they really think that Michigan is going to cover this 11.5 spread. It could be more than that, honestly,
And I
but we don't know.
heard they're only kicking field goals over home plate. So they're just changing sides of the field on every possession.
Why aren't they playing in Ann Arbor? Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Honestly, like, no,
Get it?
but I'm honestly asking because, like, I will take the L and be wrong. I will happily take the L and be wrong. But I do need somebody to explain to me why they are playing on a baseball field in Chicago in November. Do they not know it was snowing in the northern states this earlier? Like, why? Why are we doing this?
I mean,
Why?
is this like when the NFL takes games to Europe? Is it because they need fans to attend? Like
I
new
would almost
fans?
prefer that they did that, to be quite honest. Go, if we want to do something like completely obscure, go have Michigan play Northwestern at like O2 Arena in England. Like, do that. It's like, why are we doing the most extra stuff in November?
And how much are they paying to convert that field into a football field for one game, too? This seems
Such
dumb.
a
Like, feed the
waste of
hungry at
everyone's
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
freaking time. Like,
For a game that's not
why?
even going to be good.
At all. At all. And I don't know, did you hear about this? Like UCLA or USF, they're not USF, University of Southern California, they're gonna start playing at SoFi next year?
I think it's UCLA, and they're trying to
think it is
figure out
too.
how to get out of their contract with the Rose Bowl because I think they still have a good number of years on it. But
Well,
it's
they
all
saved a
about
lot of money
this.
on Nico Amaliva, so why don't they just build a new stadium?
They saved
Everyone
a lot
else
of
is
money.
doing it.
They spent a lot of money.
Yeah, they saved a lot of money. Oh, yeah, that's true.
They spent
Well, they didn't pay him the
$2.8
$8
million.
million he demanded. To get Nico?
Yeah, they gave him 2.8 because he was asking for 4.8 or 4 or 5 at. Wasn't he asking for 4 at Tennessee?
I know his take home is $900K, so I might be.
Maybe it was 1.8 then.
It was not like
50
his
a
take home is
50% tax
900.
rate sounds good.
So maybe. But this is wild. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know why they're doing that. But I mean, yeah, we've got some decent games. It just like feels unfair for Ole Miss to play Florida. I just like why? I don't even know why I'm watching this week, but
so now they're like, ooh, is this going to be awkward with Lane Kiffin going to coach against Florida, which could be his future destination? Ooh, is that going to be weird? I'm like,
Kiffin is not
he is not
going
leaving
to
Ole
freaking
Miss.
Florida.
No, he's not leaving Ole Miss. Why would he leave?
He's happy in Ole Miss. Yeah, he's happy at Ole Miss.
I think he is too.
He's not going to Florida.
He's building his own thing.
That man spent an hour sitting in front of he spent an hour sitting in front of an ESPN camera talking about how much life is better now that he's in Oxford. He's like, I'm sober, I'm hanging out with my kids, I'm talking to my ex-wife in a normal way. Like, that dude is not leaving Oxford. This is like, what's so crazy is that we saw so much disloyalty from players early on in the season because of NIL and stuff like that. And we are seeing coaches legitimately dig their heels in. And they're like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. No amount of money that would take me to coach that train wreck that you've developed.
Yeah.
And you're going to expect me to win in like 2 years with a busted roster in year 1? No.
Right. I mean, like, Dabo Sweeney's literally like playing chicken.
Yeah, he's like, dare you.
Clemson. Yeah.
It's kind of fun to watch, isn't it?
I feel so bad for Dabo.
Fire me. I might be fired tomorrow. He's like looking at his buyout, whatever it is, like, I'll be okay.
It's like, every week that goes by, I'm going to lose another $800K. That's okay, because I'm still going to make 30.
And Auburn will hire me.
And Auburn will hire him. Did we hear, like, who is going to fill these positions? That's the other thing, too. It's like we're watching teams that don't even have a coach.
I know.
Like,
and it's like, oh, well, we don't expect them to win. We don't expect we don't expect them to win.
So is Clemson and Oregon in trouble? Why are they playing on Friday night? They do something wrong?
Did Dan Lanning catch pneumonia in that, like, cold? He is, like, insane.
No, he's fine.
He is insane. Like, why can't Phil Knight get him some kind of waterproof shirt? He's like, I'm not going to wear a jacket because my players are all wet.
No, that was his choice.
Cotton. I want cotton shirts, and I want it to soak in, and I want to be miserable.
God, he's
like,
so crazy.
Come on,
I
Phil.
love it.
Phil, your mascot is a duck. Ducks have, like, water repellent feathers. Like, can you put a feather vest on him or something?
That's Dan Lanning's choice.
I know it's his choice because he's insane.
I know, but
I know.
You can't argue with that. Do you honestly think that Phil is like trying to have a reasonable conversation with Dan Lanning?
No, nobody
What's
can.
a reasonable
like a
conversation
child.
with Dan Lanning look like these days? Honestly, I want to get pneumonia. I want to be in the trenches with my guys because even though they're wearing like
Yeah.
stuff, him and Mike got the same guy.
No, he's sober. Mike's sober, remember?
He has Mike McDaniel got a lot of nerve to stand on that podium in front of all of the press and praise Dan Quinn the way that he did and say, Dan Quinn had my back when I became sober. Interesting choice of words there, Mike. Like when you said, you didn't say when I got sober, which doesn't imply that you are currently sober. So you became sober at some point in time, and today you are sober.
He identifies as sober.
I identify as sober.
Me too. Cheers.
Anyways, so you got some good college games going on this weekend. You've got some, I guess, decent NFL games going on this weekend. Again, we don't know who's good. We don't know who's bad. We don't know who's going to the playoffs or who's going to be a wild card. We know there's a bunch of old guys begging to come back next year. But stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
For the wonderful world of sports that is coming
You know
your
what
way
time
this
it is.
weekend.
Glass is empty.
Refill.
Oh, I was going to say call time of
Yeah,
death.
you're right. Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
So we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.
I love you like la 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 la.